Hello world and welcome back to another video on DC Legends. This is Daniel and with me as always is...
Maddie with some fun on DC Legends.
That's right, Maddie. It is time to have some fun. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to show the most recent podcast and play the most recent podcast for you guys over some gameplay. This is something that Commander Lindat would do a whole lot for us. And we miss Commander Lindat. If you're still watching out there, buddy, come back to us. Give us some more of those YouTube videos. The more of us that are out there, the better. And I know Fanatic Jalapeno, he's doing a lot of stuff out there and doing a really great job, a fantastic job. I think the more YouTubers out there doing some videos on DC Legends, the better. And so we even took a page out of Fanatic Jalapeno's playbook and have been showing ourselves on the videos recently. And so we'd like for you to let us know if you like that new format for us as well. But today we're going back to our normal format that we normally do, which is showing you gameplay while you listen to us. But what we're going to do a little bit different is we're going to take a page out of Commander Lindat's playbook, and since he hasn't been uploading videos recently, we're going to play the most recent podcast that's on the WB developers site. I believe it's in the WB Games community site. And so we wanted to play that for you because not everybody knows about that site. And so we want to give them all the credit here. And all we're going to be doing is playing the most recent podcast that just came out about, I believe it was Tuesday of this past week. So about 3 days ago. And I don't know if everybody had seen it or heard it yet. So we're going to be just playing some gameplay in the background and letting you listen to the podcast. And so, Maddie, we're going to go ahead and say bye to them right now. And they're going to listen to the podcast. And then we're going to end it at the end. So, is there anything you want to say to people at home before we go?
Bob, and thanks for watching. God bless you. Have a great night. Don't forget to drop us a like.
You heard her. All right, now let's get into the podcast.
I'm Kayla. I work on the community team along with Jensen, and I'm here with members of the design team. I just want to go around and introduce everyone, or have them introduce themselves, so you know who you're talking to today.
Okay, so who goes first then, Kayla? Should it be me? I'll go first. Hi, I'm Sean. I've been on a podcast before. I am the design director on DC Legends.
Josh, I think you guys have heard from me once before. I'm the systems designer here, and yeah.
Hey. I'm Larry, systems designer on DC Legends, work mostly with characters. I've been on one podcast before and don't have a cool nickname.
But the nickname of Combat Guru is up for grabs. We wrestled away from Lauren, those of you who actually paid attention and listened to previous podcasts. So we're going to have a contest to see who can be the Combat Guru.
Okay, first up, the topic on everybody's mind and on the forums and the community center.
Why isn't Chemo the best character in the game? When is Chemo going to get respect? That's the question.
That is the top question. Let's get into Deathstroke.
Deathstroke, the Terminator, Slade Wilson.
Deathstroke. So, I guess one of the biggest questions I've seen a lot of people ask is, how the heck do you counter Deathstroke?
Dun dun dun. There's actually several different ways you can go after Deathstroke. I think each of us probably have our own pet strategy for how we would approach it. Josh, what are you thinking off the top of your head?
I mean, I tend to run Hal Jordan.
Okay, yeah, Hal Jordan's a good one.
Deathstroke.
You go with a Purge team, is that?
Wait, I mean, not necessarily a Purge team, but just Hal's hammer can do a lot of work if you have the Ascension on it. So you just drop that, and then like 10 of his buffs are just gone. So.
See, I like the idea of you get like Hal Jordan plus like say Catwoman plus like Sinestro. Like these are all like purge-headed characters. Get maybe like Batman, World's Greatest Detective. You've got like a lot of ability to purge stuff. So you know if there's anybody who's taunting, you can like knock that down, and then you can go after Deathstroke and like get rid of his awareness and take him out early. In case you didn't get it I would recommend trying to eliminate Deathstroke early. That's a key element to fighting his team.
Cheetah helps in those situations as well because she'll speed up your characters so you can kind of...
Yeah, that's a good point because Larry, you can talk about like bleeds in the game and like kind of their purpose really.
Right. Yeah, we were kind of hoping to make bleeds like prevalent counter to awareness, since every tick of bleeds removes one stack of awareness. Of course, there's still some reworks that we still need to do to make those bleed characters more viable, but yeah, we're hoping in the long run that we'll be able to use bleeds as the awareness counter.
So who are some good bleed characters right now?
Well, got your favorite, Camo.
Well, there's Camo, of course. Camo. Trust me, when Camo gets respect, you're gonna love him. He's the best. But like, yeah, there's a couple bleed characters in the game that are pretty useful right now.
Yeah, we got Cheetah, we got Siren,
Dr. Poison's solid.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's favorite pairing with Deathstroke, the good old Lobo. If you guys actually level him up and get his ascensions, then you can get some bleeds on there.
Yeah, I really like using Superman's Ascended Move 2 to counter Deathstroke, just like putting the buff immunity on him, and then it like doesn't matter how many other teammates you kill, all his buffs are just negated.
Yeah, that's actually a really powerful thing that, I don't think everybody totally appreciates how useful Superman is. I mean, he looks good, but when you start to realize some of his ascension upgrades and how he can counter things, he becomes extremely useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, using like Superman on a Harley that like starts with evasion and then like removing all the evasion off the bat and doing damage and making her immune to buffs, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, and then if you have, Superman in that team leader position, he's just going to keep taunting and, damage immunity and everything and just absorb any kind of punishment. I mean, if you want a character that can survive against Deathstroke's strength up attacks, Superman's a good one there with his damage immunity.
And plus you can just shut down Deathstroke from getting new buffs with his buff immunity that he can apply, so...
Yeah, though I do think a big part of why Deathstroke is becoming so prevalent and seen as so strong within our meta is because of its interaction with Lobo, and how revived characters don't really have an answer yet.
Yet is the operative word there, folks.
I think it's fate that we're going to get a little counter in there.
Whoa.
There was... Wow. I wish this had been scripted. Wow, this is excellent. There's some creative thought here. Yeah, the idea of your kind of Deathstroke plus a revive team, Lobo, Swamp Thing, Solomon Grundy, Doomsday, that's absolutely a viable strategy. And the thing is, we want to make sure that there are ways to counter viable strategies. I think one of the things that's fair to say is that we've been putting a lot of thought into the kinds of characters we're seeing in the game and making sure that as we're introducing new characters and respecking some of the older characters, that there's a strategy and then counter strategies and then counters to the counter strategies. Mm-hmm. So I think in the coming months people are going to be pretty excited, and the excitement that you're feeling around Deathstroke in the game and how it's changed things up. Well, we'll try to make sure that we continue on the good path of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your recommendations for team combinations for taking down Deathstroke? I mean, there's the obvious, but...
Well, I
Deathstroke and Lobo.
Yeah, Deathstroke and Lobo against Deathstroke and Lobo. It's a good combo. Yeah, I mean, well, I like I was saying, the idea of kind of a team that focuses on purging attacks, because, like Sinestro, one of his ascension upgrades, lets you purge characters that are taunting. So you can, if you have, a Harley leading, you can, get rid of her and then take down Deathstroke. Batman, World's Greatest Detective, has a lot of purging abilities, plus he can get other characters to act quickly. And, once you break down Deathstroke's awareness, that's the key. Because, you get him off of, having this, kind of shield on him, and then he can break. And that's, to me, the strategy I go after.
More so than what characters I bring, I make sure I kind of avoid bringing certain characters in with me. Characters who are usually amazing, like Reverse Flash, Livewire, and Green Arrow Castaway, they have a lot of, not a lot of, but each of them has an uncontrollable attack that could potentially target, enemies you don't want to necessarily die when fighting Deathstroke. So just being wary of bringing those characters in and having those like secondary attacks fire off, they can spell doom for you in battles against Deathstroke.
Yeah, every battle against Deathstroke is definitely like a tactical encounter, and you have to like make your decisions really carefully. Personally, I like bringing Katana and like being able to steal the awareness buffs off of them off the bat to like give her even more survivability and let her continuously steal the buffs off of them. Yeah, it works pretty well for me.
Yeah, I've had a couple interesting battles against Deathstroke where either Huntress or Katana, where if they're killing somebody over and over and over again, they can stay alive for a long time and turn around a battle, which is kind of interesting.
I really wanted to touch on Vixen because I have not seen her mentioned hardly at all in the forums since we've released her. And I guess I just want to know what are some of the benefits of using Vixen or having Vixen on your team?
Multi-strike's really nice to kind of just purge off those awarenesses. That's one of the biggest benefits that she has. Even though she's affinity disadvantage versus Deathstroke, like she can get rid of those awarenesses, which is like really good.
Yeah, when we designed Vixen, we wanted her to be like an adaptable counter to multiple strategies. Unfortunately, it just wasn't the strategy that became huge with the release of our latest characters. But these are still strategies that we hope down the line to make into like prevalent meta viable teams, and then you'll see that Vixen has being able to adapt to multiple situations is what makes her a really like useful character, whether that's characters that evade like Harley Quinn, she has the moves that can't miss, or characters with awareness having the multi-strike that stacks bleeds on them. It's like these are the answers to multiple strategies that we hope that she'll be able to use.
Yeah, we're kind of hoping that people will start to, the Deathstroke, he made a big debut and stole the thunder, and it's gotten a lot of attention. But we're hoping that people will start to see the value of Vixen and start to realize, like, oh, combining her with some other characters can have like a pretty effective team against like a Deathstroke team.
Actually, I mean, we're starting to see a little bit more value in some of the previous characters from previous months, even with this month, because now Terra is a much better counter versus Harley, because she can't miss with her like initial things and gives some like evasion downs. So right now, if you're running Terra against anybody who's doing Harley right now, you're probably in a good spot.
We wanted to definitely encourage people to start looking through the full roster of heroes that we have in the game and start to think like, okay, what is the team that I need here? What's a character that I haven't thought about in a while that like maybe I need to bring them in? Oh, guess what? Lex Luthor Bruiser, he can be damage immune. That's kind of useful against a Deathstroke, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Plus he has that purge.
Yeah.
Can't miss purge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you guys can tease about next month for our lovely community? Lots of people asked about if there's anything that we can hint towards, or
You might want to get those Deadshot shards.
hint.
There's a hint there. It's going to be a scary month. You might be afraid of what's coming down the road.
Big hint there.
What are we allowed to talk about?
Yeah, what are we going to talk about? What can
I
we
know,
say?
I'm not sure. I thought I'd throw that out and see if you guys have anything at the top of your heads.
Well, we are planning to introduce some new functionality to the game that should be sort of interesting. We're going to be introducing the concept that we call overhealing. So what this means is that you're going to start to see characters that can exceed having 100% of their hit points. That essentially they can go into an overhealed state and kind of supercharge themselves. Not every character is going to be able to do this at first, but our plan is that characters that have mending will basically give them the opportunity to go into an overhealed state. And then other characters that are to be announced still, that's the tease, they're going to have the ability to heal and like go past 100%.
Yeah, we feel like a lot of the usefulness of mends was taken away because of how quickly characters get taken down in combat, and so putting mends on characters at full health felt like a pretty big waste of your time. But with the addition of overheal, now putting mends on anyone will essentially be useful, either increasing survivability or increasing the ability for characters to sustain in combat.
There's also the other side of that, and that's heal block. Where
Yeah.
So yeah, as soon as we start to see a lot more like overhealing and this sort of thing, the idea to stop that, to shut that down, becomes very useful. So you want to revisit some of the older heroes that have heal blocks. A couple examples of those, like Huntress, which not everybody realizes that she has a second upgrade on her basic attack that will block healing, which can be very useful.
Yep, Mara's got heal block, and rarely used Joker also has heal block on his move too.
So these are some exciting things to be looking forward when October rolls around. It's going to be a scary month.
All right, we've reached the end of our time, but we do have a couple of questions from the community that I thought that we could answer. I did notice, and I don't know if we can answer this now, but I did notice a couple people were asking about the color of enemies and how they're all gray, and if we'll ever make those color.
Sometimes Emerald Archer doesn't show up as gray. Sometimes we have a bug which makes him show up colorful.
I didn't notice that, actually. Thank you for pointing that out, Josh. Yeah, so it's definitely one of those things that we're kind of aware of, that you're fighting. The idea is that when you're fighting against PvP, if you have Batman on your team, you're not just fighting another Batman, you're fighting the evil, dark, wraith version of Batman. It's one of those things where we made some changes to our interface to try and make it more clear which heroes you're going up against, so that there isn't confusion, because sometimes it's hard to tell different Batmen from each other, or Superman versus Bizarro. But yeah, it's something we hear, and so we are looking at and asking the question about, okay, should we change things to make it more obvious? And we love our characters, we love the way they look, so we certainly want to showcase and highlight how cool they are.
Let's see. A couple people have asked about will there ever be a way to convert fragments beyond 1100 into anything else? Will there ever be a legendary cap increase?
Short answer, yes. To the shards being useful after 1100. Mm-hmm. As for the rank increase,
I know after.
Yeah, I don't think we have any specific plans about increasing the ranks right now. It's still a lot of work to get to,
the full. People get to gear 11 first.
We want people to get to like gear 11, gear 80, that sort of thing. But yeah, absolutely, we want to make sure, like Larry said, that you can do something with those fragments. And so we're working on some stuff that is going to make it so that you'll always feel like getting fragments is a good thing. Even if you've maxed out a character, you can use those in some interesting ways. And we're kind of excited about where it's going. We can't tell you anything quite yet, but it is coming down hopefully before the end of this year.
Another good question, and feel free to tease all you want. One person asked, will alliances receive any sort of update at all in the future?
Yes.
Why, Josh, do you have any opinion on that?
We're doing a lot of things. So I think you guys are going to like it. We're going to give you guys a little bit more options on what you're going to be able to do. That's all I'm going to say for right now until we have stuff a little bit more solidified.
I think we can tease a few things to say that, we're kind of aware that it's a tough grind right now. That like every day, it gets switched up, and there's like a new set of heroes that you have to work with. And some days you don't have all those heroes, and you're like, oh gosh, it's too much. I can't deal with it, right? So what we want to try and do is make it so that there's a nice balance between every day there's some new thing I can do, but that there's a little bit of consistency over time. They're like, oh, hey, let's say, for instance, Chemo is, he's the character that you got to use. Well, give me a little time to ramp him up, to level him up, because maybe he's not where I want him to be. So we're trying to balance that and give you more opportunities to kind of play with the system and bring different characters and different combinations to get like maximum bonus for your alliance.
We have an entire alliance that submitted a few questions on the official forums.
My alliance isn't give a shout out.
It doesn't. I don't think it says their name.
That's not a very good alliance name.
They asked any word about the legendary events.
They're no longer locked to level 80. It's even higher.
We have some ideas.
But yeah, that book ain't doing a lot right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, that it's still a tease that we're planning that, legendary events should be legendary and truly epic. So that is the intention. And so when it unlocks, we want this to be like kind of a big system for the game where you can get in like big legendary struggles against some of the big iconic names in the DC universe, such as Necron and perhaps others.
In other words, it might take a little bit to get it to that epic.
Yeah, it's not quite there yet. It's not epic enough. The level of epic is insufficient at the moment.
They also asked if Chemo will be a reworked hero for October.
Not for October.
You have to know that question.
We can tell you that much. We can tell you it's not October. But if Sean has his way, Chemo will see his day.
Chemo's going to be the best character. Every month we're going to respec him to be the ultimate character. Like whatever it is, it's just going to be all Chemo all the time.
That should be a bumper sticker. All Chemo all the time.
Chemo is underappreciated right now, I think. He's actually more useful than people realize.
How so?
Well, Chemo is very good at applying bleeds. And the thing is, like we said, that bleeds weren't appreciated, but now suddenly when you've got things like Deathstroke, suddenly, every time Deathstroke hits Chemo, he gets a bleed on him. So, things like that can make Chemo more useful.
Yeah, infinite duration bleeds weren't as useful with short battles, but as battles get longer with the use of Deathstroke and other, I guess, battle length extenders, I'd say Chemo gains a little more usefulness with infinite duration bleeds.
But it is one of those, Chemo and like some of the other characters that people, kind of look at and go like, nah, he's not really exciting me. We're aware of this, and we like to hear about it in, forums and in our social center. And so we look at those things and we ask ourselves like, okay, how do we make sure that these characters are viable? Sometimes when we're designing heroes, we have a certain idea in mind, and when we actually see it in the real world, how people play, we'll go like, oh, this one hit, but like this one's a little off base. Well, we try and take that into account and then say, okay, if the core concept is good, how do we change it or enhance it to get to something that's really compelling? And this is our ongoing mission that, you can expect every month for the foreseeable future to see some characters that are either significantly reworked if, their design doesn't really hold up, or minor upgrades to just enhance them and make them a little bit better.
We got a lot of characters who fall into that same space right now. So, while Chemo will come eventually, we got a couple in the hopper.
We got a couple ones who are in front of him in line.
All right, we have time for one more question. This person asks, when will there be raids in the game?
Well, that does sort of lead into the idea of legendary events. When will they happen? I would predict that the two might coincide in some way. But there's other things that are more on the near-term horizon for us, specifically talking about some of the solutions to what do I do with extra hero fragments that I collect? How do I make sure that my alliance has something really big to do, especially when there's other alliances out there? These are the things that are kind of more on our immediate roadmap.
In terms of the extra fragments and essence, is there been any talk about trading in that stuff for other stuff, or?
Then talk.
Well, I don't think we're gonna do like the shard shop idea.
Yeah.
If that's what people are expecting. There's something better coming down the pipes.
Okay. Nice hint.
It's a good tease.
Nice tease, yeah.
We'll leave it on that note. Drop the mic.
All right, that is all we have time for. Thanks so much, guys, for listening. And if you have any further questions, just submit them to Jensen in the forum, and he'll try to get them answered for you.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, you just got through listening to the podcast that's brought to you by the developers of DC Legends. And I'll go ahead and finish off this round real quick, and then we will end off the video. While I'm going through this round, I do want to give a shout out one more time to Commander Lindad out there. I know this was something that you did a lot of, and so we hope to have you back real soon. And if you're listening, leave a comment and let us know that you're still out there and still playing the game emphatically, like I know that you have for a long time. I also want to give a special shout out to Phonetic Jalapeno out there. If you're watching as well, leave a comment in the comment section and let me know, because we just really appreciate all the stuff that's going on right now with DC Legends and the YouTubers out there. And let's all stick together as a YouTube community and keep a positive outlook for all of the people that supply us all with the great content, because the more that's out there, the more you guys have to watch. And so again, to some of my favorite DC Legend YouTubers out there, from one DC Legend YouTuber to another, I say thank you to all you guys. And so guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and we will talk to you again soon. Good night and have a good one.